Hey friend, welcome back. Today I'm sharing another episode of Everything is Art. We're just going to go ahead and call them episodes because at the end of the day, I live in the reality show of my brain anyway. If you're unfamiliar with the challenge, I will share some information in the description box. And that should answer all of your questions. But in short, Everything is Art is a challenge that I host along with my friends Anna and Leanne. And it is a challenge where we try to inspire ourselves, each other, and you to dig a little deeper into a single prompt and to share what all came of it. Okay, so this season's prompt is rejoice. And I'm not gonna lie, friend, this one was a tough one for me. I feel like the prompt for me personally was ill-timed, as I did not feel at all like rejoicing at the time that I sat down to like digest and maybe put together my ideas for what would come from this word. And there's a lot going on in the world. I'm not going to belabor it. If you live on this planet, you know that there's a lot going on in this world. If you live in the States, really anywhere, I can't imagine that there's one place on this planet that's not affected about what's happening to someone else in a different place on the planet. So needless to say, rejoice did not feel like the word that I would want to work with right now. I could think of a number of words, but they would probably not be productive. But nonetheless, the purpose of this challenge is to have us do the work and think about all of the different angles and all of the different ways that we can interpret the prompt. And so in the literal definition of the word, at the time that I sat down to do the work, did I feel like it resonated with me? Absolutely not. This is my fourth time doing a voiceover. I will not lie to you, friend. And it is because it so did not resonate. Like Rejoice did not read the room, but Rejoice wasn't aware of what the room would become. Okay, so we're not blaming her for anything. The first thing that I'll start with is not this page. Of course, it has become the thing that I do these days whenever I am trying to break down or digest an idea. This might not be something that would be part of your practice, and I'm certainly not trying to influence you in any way, but I will say that for me as a visual learner, notes are helpful, and anything that is like a path to the thing that I want to do is going to be helpful for me. Probably one of the reasons why I struggled with Rejoice was because she is a woman of a certain age, and we are going through a metamorphosis yet again, as women do for their entire lives. We are in constant change. We are constantly evolving and adjusting and all the things. And in this particular season of my life, the patience and the feelings, they're testy. I will leave this page here for you. You're welcome to screen grab it. I'm not the only one that is within the age range of perimenopause symptoms. Perhaps this would be of use to you as well, as a reminder that our bodies are doing incredible and amazing things right now, and it deserves to be honored and given rest, and we need to create or find or invest in our community. I decided to just, take the word and think of the things that I rejoice in and share with you how I spend that time and why it brings me joy. And maybe it will inspire you to find the things in your life that you can rejoice in, because that's really what carries us through the harder times. And, there's never not a hard time in human history. So let's put together our arsenal of emotional support things. I'm going to show you my arsenal of emotional support supplies. Some of them that I carry with me from room to room in my house, and some of them that I use at my desk. All right. So by now, hopefully my hands have been out of my way enough for you to have this, and I'll close this and tell my kids to lower their voices, and I'll be right back. All right, so things that I am rejoicing in no particular order. So one of the things that I have been enjoying is doing this Rebel font that I've come up with. Now, I haven't done any research. I don't know if anybody else does it. If somebody else does it, then hooray. But I've never seen it, and so I'm calling this my Rebel font, and that is what it shall be. And the reason why I call it the Rebel font is because it is following the hand lettering rules, but the letters are shaped backwards. This is how we typically would do a T from top to bottom. I'm going to shape it from bottom to top, and that's going to give me pressure in the opposite place of where proper handwriting would place it. So that makes it really fun because it forces you to slow down so that you can think about where you're starting versus where you're ending, but not to think about what the shape is going to look like. And that's the part that I love, because I feel like I end up with a really fun, whimsical, almost childlike version of lettering that looks free. So because I really love it, I've been exploring this lettering in various places. I did this journaling of a family activity that we did together. I did all of this in the Rebel font. So here I wrote a couple of dates in using the Rebel font. What I love about it is that I get the pleasure of the meditative feeling of slowing down and thinking of each letter, but technically they're still being formed by my own handwriting. I'm not trying to mimic anyone else's lettering. All I'm doing is starting each letter in the opposite direction that we're taught that letters are meant to start. Another thing that I have been enjoying is collaging in a magazine. One thing that I will say, when you're starting a new project, whether it is bullet journaling, hand lettering, junk journaling, art journaling, the smaller the surface, the more likely you are to fill it. And if you fill it, the more likely you are to continue and do more. Anyway, so I've been sort of working in this and using this as an art journal, and then just cutting and pasting images. Sometimes they're my own drawings from the past. Sometimes there are other images that I have harvested from other magazines in the past. This is an image from a children's book. And so, I just go through the pages, and whenever I feel like I want to do something that's not too much, I'll just come to these pages and maybe I'll just add a little thing here and there, or maybe I'll just paste random things like these body parts were added by me. And so whenever I harvest, one of my options is to add them to this magazine collage. This is a piece of painted sticker paper that I had left over, like a scrap piece, so I just put it there. It could be a journaling spot at some point if I wanted it to. I just added this random chicken here, and I feel like that's a fun time. And in this one, I have to touch them because sometimes it's hard for me to know what I added, but it looks like I added the owl, and I added these faces over top. And all of them continue to be a work in progress. I guess I had the idea to bring this lady in here for some reason, She's not glued down, so we'll see if she ends up living there eventually. For future me to work on, I enjoyed this one. It kind of is a little strange, and she's all like everything's fine, and it's clearly not fine. And so yeah, so I really enjoyed working in these pages and just adding things here and there. Zero rhyme or reason. Love this whale just in the background, as a whale does, this dancer here. So you get the point. Just the idea is just to keep adding things wherever they make sense or make the least sense, and that I find entertains me the most. Whenever I add things that make the absolute least sense whatsoever, that makes me happy. I love these two girls in this plane. All right, so that's something I've been enjoying. I've also really been enjoying making zines. Now, I will not share other people's zines with you, but Anna, Leanne, and I have been sending zines to each other. I don't know if we've made a full year yet, but we almost mirror the Everything is Art schedule and send each other seasonal zines. This is my Everything is Art zine from the fall of 2024. And apart from adding a lot more writing into it, it pretty much is this same format that we send to each other. Leanne occasionally will do something different because she is a rebel at heart. And so I'm showing you all of the zines that I've created and sent to the ladies, and not showing you the ones that they've sent to me. And I just really enjoy creating them, but I, of course, enjoy most of all receiving what they send and just having like that update. And you know, it's kind of like making a magazine of your life. Recently, I decided to take apart one of my past junk journals. It was completed, but it didn't really bring me joy. Many of the spreads I felt completely disconnected to, and if I'm gonna keep something, it has to earn its place. Like it has to have a place in my heart. And that junk journal, for as much as it was filled to the brim, I mean, it was a chunker. It just, I don't know. I'm going to link it below. I think I have a flip through of it. And I don't know. Maybe when I see the flip through, I'll be like, what was I thinking? Anyway, I took it all apart and I ended up creating a capsule for myself. And from here on out, when I'm junk journaling, I will be working with this capsule, as well as whatever scraps and papers I might need to add in. Because I'll be working from a capsule, that means that I won't necessarily be working in chronological order. I won't even necessarily be working with things that are related to each other, time-wise, if that makes sense. Like I might use something from 5 years ago and put it in the same spread as something from yesterday. So I'm really excited to be working with a capsule for junk journaling. And to get myself started, I created a new junk journal for myself. You know that I love to repurpose a grocery bag. And so I made myself a new grocery bag junk journal. I actually added the handles this time just for giggles. And if they become a problem in the future, I could always cut them out and it wouldn't affect the structure of the journal itself. But I just love it. I just think it's quirky and it's fun. In fact, in the past, I used to make mailing envelopes for myself to mail pen pal mail, and I would keep the handles on the pen pal mail. All right, so this is my grocery store junk journal. And let's make sure that I'm in frame. Okay, she's in frame. And so I'll do like a quick little flip through. I won't necessarily tell you what's what because I'll save that for the actual proper flip through of this. But, you know, as you can see, like it's just, you know, sticking things here and there. And it's really just intuitive and whatever feels right, and that's just what's going in. I'm not really thinking too much about, I want to cover this because it has Anna's address on it. You know, I'm not gonna think too much about what's going down. It's whatever feels right to me at the time. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about having this space where things don't have to be chronological. They don't have to make sense to anyone but me. And it's been really fun to work in these pages, and I look forward to working in them more. I even have some pages where I added pockets, so that's super fun. And then there's this one spread in the middle where I took a photocopy of an Amazon box because it said, "Without you, I'm empty inside," and I just thought that was funny and appropriate for a junk journal to say, "Without you, I'm empty inside," because duh, without us, the journals are empty inside. You get it? So I love this. I just love it. And it's the perfect size. In fact, I only added, I think I only added 5 sheets, which gives me 20 pages. And I just think it is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. In the vein of making things, another thing that has been giving me a lot of joy is in using my own artwork to make things for myself and to share. So I've got lots of drawings. Let me get a sketchbook. So I have a number of sketchbooks, and in them are a bunch of my drawings that, you know, happen when, you know, I'm sitting around. Typically, I do these drawings when I'm in bed after the kids have gone to sleep. Sometimes they happen during the day, but most of these drawings happen when I should be sleeping, true to form. And so I've been really enjoying taking some of my older drawings and printing them so that I can use them again and again and again and again in different art. That, I think we just passed that lady in this book. Yeah, here she is, printed as a die cut for myself. So I've been doing this recently, and I've been creating some fun journaling cards and some fun ephemera for myself so that I can use these images over and over again, because why not? I already have them in my stash. And so I have them here along with the collage fodder that I made and shared in a previous video. And I will link that as well. And some of the other things that I've been doing is printing them on sticker paper for myself, and even printing them as little journaling spots. I like these a lot. I think this makes like a cute little journaling spot. Printing some old favorites. This is probably like one of my top 5 favorite images that I've drawn back when I used to draw a lot of faces and do like a lot of intricate hair. Now I think I kind of avoid faces. So, you know, what an evolution, right? Like it's almost like an evolution in the opposite direction. Sometimes I just enjoy the process of creating these faceless beings that I think still convey emotion somehow. I've also made myself some journaling cards using my own art. This is a scan. These are both a scan of artwork from my acrylic art journal. The crease in between the pages is kind of like, you know, I don't love it, but it is what it is. This is a scan of a picture from an art journal, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And then I made some bigger journaling cards for myself. I made some Lauren's, and I don't know, is she a mermaid? We don't know who she is. And this one reminds me of Poison Ivy because it's so much green. So it makes it really fun to create things, because then I get to see my art like become something more than just the drawing. So that's really fun. Another thing I've been enjoying lately is just drawing on regular printer paper. So I've done a number of these. I don't know how many, maybe 8 or so. And it's just a basic piece of printer paper and then just doodling all sorts of things that are not necessarily related to each other. It's just whatever pops out of my mind at the time, and just filling the page with images that I think now they can also be cut out and used as collage fodder or focal points. I love her. I love this negative coloring. I don't know what you would call it, where the blue indicates that her hair is blue, but I didn't fully color it, but we still get it. I love it. I love her. She's my favorite. And just kind of like letting it be quirky, letting the mistakes exist. You know, I didn't really give her much of a torso. You know, her arms are not necessarily a matching length. This ankle is not comfortably shaped, but she's a drawing, you know, it's fine. It's just me having fun. Even just doing black and white. This one is still in progress. And yeah, so I've really been enjoying doing these. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but I've done enough and I've enjoyed them enough that I know that I'll be back. So I gave them their own little protective case. I've also been enjoying, along with making those grocery bag journals, keeping the box filler from any online orders, or keeping the scraps from paper bags, because these then become the pages for my junk journals or any project that I would be working on. So I like to cut them down to whatever size makes sense. So these were the scraps, so that's why they're smaller, but these are cut down to be pages. These are cut down to be pages, and then just keep them ready for whatever project they might be needed for. I've also really enjoyed magazine harvesting. I have so many fun ideas for repurposing magazines. And I'm also going to be sharing the method that I use for harvesting so that I can identify what each image or each page is going to be used for. And so again, I'll show you that detailed process in a different video, but just so that you can have a little bit of an idea. Here are some of my harvests, and what I've done is just put them in these folders, which I just use a Post-it to label. That way I can remove the Post-it, and like if the category is not important to me anymore, it's not necessary, I'll just remove the Post-it and replace it, and the folder just goes on and on forever. I will do my selections and do my fussy cuts, and then I put them in these folders. And when I'm done harvesting, when I've had enough, because who's ever done? When I'm done with harvesting, I will then put them away in their permanent storage folders, which are also labeled, and they're all ready for projects. One of my favorite new things to do is to take those negative pieces and create a master board that then can be used in other projects, like using them to cover a notebook. You can collage directly on it, but because I had this master board that I scanned and printed for myself, then I was able to just use that to cover this, and it looks like I created a collage when I did it. All I did in the end was add one of my printed images from my own drawings, and then also adding my own captions that I like to create for myself. And in this case, the captions that I chose were affirmations. And I even created my own bookmark using my own captions. So yeah, I am obsessed right now with harvesting. I only wish I had my own studio where I could spread out really far and wide, because it can be a little messy if you don't have the right amount of space, which is why I think it's also helpful to create categories for yourself so that you can work in those categories instead of having everything everywhere all at once. And one of the last things that I would say that I've been enjoying lately is challenging myself to read again. I used to be what they call a voracious reader. This is pre-kids. Post-kids, I have been virtually unable to read a book without falling asleep. It's not the book's fault, it's me. It's just the way that I'm built after 2012. And so it's been discouraging. And not to mention that when I am able to stay awake, I find that my brain doesn't always focus, and I end up having to read the page over and over and over again. It's so frustrating. So I hadn't been reading for a while, but a new Barnes & Noble had opened in one of our nearby neighborhoods. I went in, I got reinvigorated and excited, bought some new books, and this was one of them. This probably is not the best book to be reading during today's world climate. The reason why I chose this one first is because it's one of the smaller ones that I have in my collection of books to read. I made myself my own bookmark using some beads and this, like, I don't know, leather type of cord that I had gotten from Michael's years ago. And this butterfly came from a bracelet that one of my friends gave me. She, myself, and another one of our friends, we all had matching bracelets, and we all agreed that the butterfly had to go. Because we thought it would get lost or broken or, dinged around. So I offered to make us all bookmarks, and now this can stay with us forever. In any case, friend, that is a bit of the things that are bringing me joy these days. And I hope that any or all of these have given you ideas of ways that you can find time and space to rejoice in your life. Because we only have one life, friend, and nothing is promised. So enjoy your today, rejoice in your today, and I hope that this video has found you well and that you are safe, and sending you lots of love and light. See you next time. Bye. Have I mentioned that it wasn't resonating? I forgot one thing that is bringing me joy or brought me joy this week. I got some plain wooden squares to create coasters, and I just went in with my Artistro markers, which I have right here, some of them at least, and I first drew with pencil, my latest, and then I painted them with the markers. This one came out a little bit streaky, but I don't care. That's art is art. And I just drew these 4 different images and created some coasters for myself. I did one coat of Mod Podge on top. I'm not sure if it's the waterproof Mod Podge, so I might want to look into getting some of that. But I love how they turned out. Having children, beautiful. Love them. They're amazing. Parenting, ick. Let's fast forward to when I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Okay. Because it gives me so much joy to think about the post carrier looking at it and being like, what the hell is this? That just, it tickles me. Sorry if I was out of frame. Welcome to my life. Ooh. I gotcha. You're ready, aren't you? I know. Ooh. You're ready. You can go whenever you Bye. You get it?